We rolling?
Rolling. Should be good. I think I'm gonna loosen this joint. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
You want to bring that mic and put it over there?
Yeah. There it is right there. I'm sure it's not in the frame.
You look. Take a look. It's in a book. Raw. Raw audio. Are we in tight? Like, is it tight? Like, we gotta be.
I think it's. You wanna go look at it?
Yeah. Okay, so you gotta stay in between the pillow, and I gotta stay in between the pillow, and then we'll be in frame.
My legs up sometime. Nah, it's cool. I like it. This is good.
Okay.
Just chilling.
When nothing seems to help, I go and look at a stonecutter hammer away at his rock, perhaps 100 times, without as much as a crack showing in it. Yet at the 101st blow, it will split in two, and I know that it was not that blow that did it, but all that had gone before.
Stone cutters. Stone. It's Will Catlett.
It's Aaron.
And we're your stone cutters.
Yes.
It sounds like I'm about to like sell something on like TV or something.
Yeah. We're not selling you anything. Everything that we're giving you is free. Free 99.
Free 99.
The only thing that'll cost you is action.
Right.
And taking the necessary steps to get you closer to where you want to be and who you want to be.
How did we come up with the title Stonecutters?
Stonecutters. How did we come up with it? I think I shared that quote with you, and I think originally it probably came from iron sharpening iron. The whole origin, I think, there was a point in your life, Will, when we knew each other in Los Angeles, that you were going through some struggles, and you came to me and you said, Aaron, what do I do? All of these things are happening to me, and I'm feeling it.
I don't remember none of that shit though.
And I told, wait a minute, I'm gonna get there. And I gave you the analogy of the sword. I gave you the analogy of the sword and how a sword is made, and a sword is made by basically placing it into the fire to basically melt the metals and to have the metals malleable, which means that they can be formed and pounded into a particular shape. So a sword is placed into the fire, and it's heated up and it's warmed up, and that heat it releases some of the impurities, but the next step in the process, that blade is taken out and it's pounded and it's flattened and it's shaped into something that looks like a sword.
Right.
And then it's taken, and through that pounding, more impurities are released, and after it's been pounded a certain number of times, then it's dropped into cold water, which is a process called, it's quenched. And when you quench it, it basically solidifies whatever position it was in when it was being pounded and when it was being warmed up. So I said that the analogy there is that, actually after it's quenched, then it's sharpened, or it may go back into the fire to be warmed, pounded, and then quenched again. And then this is just what I told you is that whole entire process, it parallels the way that we live our lives. And when challenges come to us, that's the fire. And that's what warms you up and it heats you up. And sometimes the fire could be anger. The fire could be, it could be a multitude of different things. However, you're warmed up and then you're pounded, and that's the force and the pressures of life, the pressures of the money, the pressures of the fame, whatever those pressures may be, and then you're quenched, you're sharpened. The process continues, and it's never ending for your entire life. So first it was the sword analogy, and then from that we both looked at ourselves as being swords, and the next phrase was iron sharpens iron, and that we were basically using ourselves to sharpen each other. I was using you to put new ideas up, and you were doing the same with me, or you were asking, hey, how would you approach this? And I would say, how would you approach that? Iron sharpens iron. And then from there, I introduced you to the Stonecutters quote from Jacob Riis, and I think as we were starting to develop an idea to start talking about how we've been formed and how we're constantly growing, evolving, and changing, Stonecutters just fit that mold. It really fit what we were talking about, and talking about 100 blows without seeing anything, and then that 101st, it'll split, and you need to remind yourself that it wasn't that last one, it wasn't that audition that got you the gig, it was all the ones that you didn't get, where you didn't see anything, you didn't see the results, you didn't see anything come from it. It's that all of those went into making that final blow that broke that new facade off, that showed that new part of you. So that's where the name came from, Stonecutters.
Yeah, it's a powerful name. I mean, I was thinking about that situation. You know, I was going through a relationship at the time. You know, and I think I was in the fire of it. You know? And you know, your words, you know, pulled me out of the fire, and then then the pounding began. You know, then the sharpening began. You know, and it's just like, wow, I'm just thinking about the process of that whole time, and what space I was in. It was a beautiful time. At the same time, it was a painful time. And people go through relationships, and they can either go, let it sink them into the dumps, or they can have a friend like you in that situation. So thank you, my good brother.
You're welcome.
You know what I'm saying, to pull me out and to put it all in perspective, and even looking at that process of the stonecutter and the sword, that's the process of life. How many people will be so further along in life if they just know the principle? It's like, listen, I just gotta keep hitting it. I just gotta keep hitting it. Don't concern myself with not getting this job or this not working out, just keep hitting it, hitting. It's like, even out of that relationship, I always tell women, because I'm married, that, marriage is your right. Even through that process, I never had a second of doubt that I would not be married. You know what I mean? Like, I knew that would happen for me. No matter how many relationships that I went through, or situations that built me, I just kept plugging away, because I knew eventually I would get to the center. It's like licking one of them lollipops.
Tootsie Pop.
Tootsie Pop. There it is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Eventually you're gonna get to the center.
Yes.
Yeah.
But once you get to the center, all you think about is the center, not everything that got you there. So
right.
And that's probably what we're doing is part of the Stonecutters, is helping people chip away, but also revealing the 100 blows that got us to here. Exactly.
And that's important, because if you can look at it and see somebody's path, you're never going to get there the same way they got there, but you can say, okay, that's encouragement.
It can be done.
It can be done. It can keep going. That's dope.
I've run across a lot of people in working at Nike, and even before I got to Nike, there was just heaps and heaps of people that showed me that it could be done.
Mm-hmm.
There were people that showed me that you could get a job at Nike and come from a completely different country. You could work at Nike and design footwear and be a part of the product creation process, starting as a janitor. You can be the head of a department and only have a high school degree. You can work with championship athletes, top tier athletes, but never have competed at the highest level yourself. So it just to show you that all those different things are possible. And we want to show people, we want to help people to show them that it's possible, and then let them sort of figure it out and go out and
Yeah,
do.
and
So-
not just, showing it possible that, boom, you got the Nike, which is congratulations, what I mean? It's a huge, I just toured the campus, I'm juiced up on that. But also to know that, you got to have a blueprint for yourself. Each person's blueprint is different, but you see that, okay, Will's acting, Aaron's at Nike, and I can make it, I can do it, to keep going, to never give up. And those things are just not cliche sayings, because at one time we can hear those and they can be cliche for us, but now it's a reality, and it's like, okay, but there's more in me than just that, but the process, falling in love with the process. It's just like me breaking down a character, There's times where you get frustrated, you get angry, you're not getting it, or you're not meshing well with the director or the writer. But once you get through the process, it's like, as soon as I pick up a script, I don't know the lines. But the more I read it and go over it, they get into my body. But once they're in my body, then they start to become me. You know what I'm saying? Words become things, they form, they have shape, So once I get them in my body, they begin to shape and they begin to tell me, what it is that they want to say, and what is it that the character wants to say. So it's that whole entire process,
What would you say is your biggest motivator? What motivates you to stick with the process? What motivated you to get to the point that you're at right now? Talk a little bit about your upbringing and how those things that from when you were a kid, how they motivated you as an adult now.
Well, what motivated me as a teenager, was basketball. But it wasn't just the playing of basketball. It was the kid that got picked last. It was a kid that was a little late to grasp, the sport. You know what I mean? I became, determined to be the best, that I could be. When I got cut from the basketball team, it was like, nah, man, I know I can hoop. I was having an internal conflict between, it's something that I really want to do in my mind, but sometimes my body just wasn't able to do the things that I desired to do. Like I was really short, like 5'3" growing up, and then I sprouted up to like 6'1". So you go through that, what they call Oscar Sliders, where the tendon grows too fast for the bone. So what you get patella tendonitis from. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'll be ready to take somebody's spot, but then my knees will start hurting. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll go for a layup. They be like, yo, baby, sorry, because he can't make an open layup. But my knees are in so much pain that I can't really elevate and jump off the ground. You know what I'm saying? So it was those things that motivated me to, like, it just gave me a work ethic. But then what I realized too, that basketball for me was a vehicle. It was a vehicle to get me to, acting. Honestly, I think if I got hit real hard by this dude named Charles Meadows, like in 5th grade in football. I was going up, I think I was doing an out and up. And that's, you run, you cut 5-yard out and up. And as the ball is coming down, I'm getting ready to catch the ball, he just blindsides me. You know what I mean? And it's like it's like one of them real hits, and your chin is bleeding because the chin strap cut you. All your boys are laughing and making fun of you, man. Charles Meadows laid you out. And I was like, man, I never want to get hit like that again. But I've always watched football. So naturally, when I started playing again as a senior, I was naturally just good at it. So I was good at scoring touchdowns, but it was that one hit that I was like, yeah, I don't want to get hit like this again, so I stopped playing the sport. But I believe football was my sport. You know what I'm saying? Like the sport to actually play and be really good at. So I take those same elements now into acting.
Wanting to be the best.
Yeah, and the best me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because when I was in college playing basketball, I got to the point where, okay, I've been cut 3 times in high school, I started running track, and then they put me back on the basketball team because the coach was like, yo, it's Coach Mabry, like, yo, this kid he's just not giving up. He said, forget it, if y'all ain't gonna put him on the basketball squad, I'll just run track. So I ran my the 4x2, I ran anchor, won the first meet that I did. I just went out there and started running track.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I was always been that guy to keep going. You know, but when I got to college and I was playing ball in